What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to talk about something completely different than I usually talk about. I want to talk about learning Chinese, specifically Mandarin Chinese. Now, I've been speaking Chinese for about 10 years now. I started back at university, had the option of choosing either Spanish or Mandarin Chinese, and I wanted to do something a little different. So I chose Mandarin Chinese, and I had the opportunity to travel to a very remote village in China, and I learned Chinese like that there. Now, everyone doesn't have the luxury of actually going to the country to study that language. So it's very important that when you are in a different place, that there's a method that you use to pick up the language as fast as possible. So this leads me to bring up the HSK, right, which is an actual exam. So they have Chinese exams that you can take as a foreigner to test your level or your language ability. I took this exam. There's 6 of them. This is 6 in Chinese. I took 4 and 5, right? But they have 1 through 6, of course, 1 being the beginner, 6 being the most advanced. So this is how I picked up Chinese very quickly. As you can see, the textbooks that you would receive if you were to have bought this book, they come in different colors. So HSK 1, the very basic of all the HSK books, it goes through the very basics of learning a language, like ni hao, ni shi xie, ni de mingzi shi shenme. So these are the very basics of Chinese. You'll find it in this book. I don't think there's more than maybe 100 or 300 words. So if you were to take this test, I would say maybe a month of studying. Just 1 month of studying in this book, you can take the HSK 1 exam. Now, it gets harder as you move forward because the amount of words and vocabularies that are in the book starts to increase exponentially. So 2, as you can see, you have 150 new characters. We move down to 3, we have 300 new characters, and characters are kind of the Chinese alphabet, right? So we have the alphabet here, A, B, C, D, E in America or English-speaking countries, but in China, they have symbols. And I don't want to go too deep into that, but it's different, totally different, makes the language very hard to study, but that's exactly what I did. 4 is the one I started with, and this is when I was in China back in 2016, living in that remote village. But I went from 0 to hero in like 3 months because, again, no one spoke English and I had the opportunity to use the language as much as possible. So HSK 4 took me, from beginner to intermediate, higher intermediate within 3 or 4 months. But as you can see, there are 600 new characters on top of the HSK 1 through 3 characters. And now you're dealing with grammar structures that are more complex, for the typical non-Chinese or the foreigner. So these are the books that I bought, HSK 4, Shang, Xia. So Shang, that symbol right there means beginning, and Xia means the end, right? So these 2 books are all you need, in my opinion, to study Chinese. But again, I studied in college before moving to China. So I got HSK 1 through 3 out the way when I was at university. And 4 was when I was in China before I took the 4 exam, right? Now 5, I actually took 5 and I passed 5 in 2019. One of the hardest exams I've ever taken. Everything's in Chinese, right? So when you get to the exam, there's no English at all on the papers. The instructors, they only speak Chinese to you, and it's very advanced. Now we have 1,200 new characters and just a crap ton of vocabulary and sentence structures. So again, HSK 5 has the Shang and also the Xia, which means the beginning and the end. They can be found on Amazon. These are the books that I use to study real intently. And I think for HSK 5, it took me about 7-8 months before I took the exam. And I would study I was crazy about it. I would study 3-4 hours a day, every day. So that is HSK 5. Now, I was planning on taking HSK 6, which they don't show here for some reason, but there is a 6, HSK 6. and it's the very highest level. And in that level, you start to deal more with idioms and just more complex type of speech, which they don't really use in everyday language. So I said after 5, I'm not going to take it again, but I've kind of changed my mind. I probably want to test myself just to make sure that my Chinese level is still up there. But 5 was really hard. And if I were to take number 6, it would probably take me a year and a half to study the book, because the book is literally this thick. HSK 5 is maybe like that thick. And right, this doesn't look like a lot, but trust me guys, it's a lot. So for the average beginner, right, HSK 1, very simple. You only have 150 words. It's perfect. It takes you through how to say your name, how to introduce yourself, how to get around. So it's very good. It's very basic and beginner. And if you were to pass this test, let's say 2 months from now, after you take it, you have confidence that, hey, I can move on to 2 now, and then 3, and then 4. So for me, I didn't do 1 through 3 because I was at university and I took 4 years of Chinese, and that was pretty much 1 through 3. But these books, that if you were to pick one up, they take you through it fast. So you don't need to pay $3,000 per class or per year just to sit down with an instructor. These books do just that. As long as you are faithful, it'll be good to you. So this is all I got, guys. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope to see you in the next video.